Hello all, welcome to Believers IAS Academy, Bengaluru. Today we will be continuing the NCERT discussion of polity. So this is class 6th chapter 2 on in polity. So today we are going to discuss about diversity and discrimination. In yesterday's class we discussed about diversity and unity in diversity. So yesterday it was a very positive discussion. Yesterday's first class was based on positivity of diversity, how there is going to be unity in diversity, how diversity is helping India to strive and thrive. But today the discussion is more based about how diversity leads to discrimination. Okay, whenever there is diversity in a community, a discrimination is bound to happen because the diversity are stratified on the basis of status, creed, color, money, etc. etc. Okay, so we will discuss what is prejudice and differences, etc. etc. First one, what is the difference and prejudices? Okay, differences can only be stated as on the basis of comparison or categorization. Okay, you can only point out to the difference between two communities or two individuals if you start comparing them. Okay, so normally a person A, a person B. Okay, both are human beings. Both are human beings. Okay, this is both are human beings. There is unity and there is no differences. But when you start comparing them based on the sex, okay, based on the sex, a person A is male, person B is female. Okay, now if you start comparing based on their age, if a person A, that is female, is around 10 years of age, you will say that is a child. If a person is above years of 60 years, then you call him as a elder. So even the difference arises when we start comparing and categorizing. Okay, whereas prejudice is an unfavorable opinion or feeling formed beforehand without knowledge, thought, or a reason. Okay, difference is when you start comparing two individuals, that is when differences arrive. But whereas prejudice, it is of negative connotation. You don't know about any person, you don't know about any particular community, you don't know about any particular religion. Without knowing it in particular by yourself, you start having an idea about a particular community, individual, or a religion. You think that so and so community, so and so person, so and so individual has a form of different negative image to them. That is, without any knowledge, you attach a certain character to an individual. That is prejudices. Okay, normally what happened is what used to happen is, so there was a conditions which is among the kids that, okay, kids, if they think about a person in a village, in every village there is a person who used to roam around without any clothes or etc etc, who many people thought to be mentally ill. Okay, so the kids, even without knowing him, just by seeing him, they will also start thinking about him as a mentally ill. Or if they see any person walking like that, they will start thinking about him as a mentally ill, because it is ingrained into their minds that a person who is walking around naked, a person who is doing illegal, like unnecessary things, is considered to be mentally ill. So that is what the prejudices are made up of. There is no base for the image or the base for the belief you have on that particular community. It is baseless and it is just allegations. Okay, so without knowledge, thought, or any reason. And then there is a stereotype. What is stereotype? It is a generalization about a person or a group of persons. Okay, we resort to prejudice by ascribing characteristic to a person based on stereotype without the knowledge of complete facts. Okay, that is what I said here. Okay, you do, like, there are stereotypes. How do you like make a stereotype? Stereotype is you start generalizing a particular person or group of community. For example, at a global level, at a humanity level, there is a stereotype that there is a male and female, and males have a stereotype that women belong to kitchens. Women are the just homemakers and they are not fit for governance, etc etc. So there is a stereotype. What is stereotype? I'm just stating the example, it is not my opinion, that women are more suited in the kitchen. Women are more suited in the kitchen. And this is the stereotype that club all the women to be housewives, all the women to be capable of only doing work in the kitchen. This is the stereotype. Based on this stereotype, we start having prejudices. Okay, we start having prejudices that women are not capable of working in offices, women are not capable of working in governances. This leads to the differences, and this leads to prejudices. Okay, what is the reason, like what happens when an individual is, or when a group is stereotyped? It reduces the individual to a rigid image and does not consider the fact that human beings are complex and multidimensional with unique attributes. Okay, even within women, even within women, there are many individuals who are unique and complex. So by stereotyping, you reduce them to just a rigid image. Okay, and then stereotypes suggest that people or groups of a people are the same although they are quite different. A stereotype, okay, they will start clubbing all the persons, all the individuals belonging to a particular group to be similar. Okay, so a stereotype is that like in an individual or a group of individuals belong to so and so community or so and so caste. Okay, they will start seeing all the individuals belonging to that caste as a stereotype. For example, uh, I will tell you with an example. Okay, there is Mahar community. Okay, not Mahar community, Malar community. Malar community. Malar community is a tribal community. They were historically involved in theft. Okay, like murders and other illegal activities. Okay, other illegal activities. So during the British time, British brought in an act to curb these Malay and other important tribes which are involved in illegal activities, habitual offenders. So they brought in an act called as Habitual Offenders Act. Okay, Habitual Offenders Act, and under this they started feeling that, like, because of this law, all the individuals who belong to the Malay community, there was a stereotype that they are involved in theft. They are kind of thieves. They are involved in illegal activities. So because of this law, all the members belonging to Malay community were stereotyped to be illegal members. Okay, all they were stereotyped as being a criminals. Okay, this is the criminal stereotype belonging to the particular community, that is Malays. But within Malays, not all the Malays are involved in criminal activities. Not all of them are involved in theft. Not all of them involved in murders. Not all of them are involved in drug trafficking, etc., etc. Even within the community, even after the stereotype, there are differences and there are complex individuals within that particular community. So by stereotyping, you reduce all the individuals, or you reduce all the members belonging to a particular group to just a particular stereotype. Okay, that is why stereotype should not be allowed. Okay, so in India, after stereotype, there is caste. It is a social structure which is very prevalent in India. It is a system of rigid stratification. Okay, it is a system of rigid stratification characterized by hereditary status, endogamy, social barriers sanctioned by the customs, laws, and religion. Okay, so what is caste? It is a stratification, a system of social stratification based on hereditary. Okay, it is based on birth. It is an ascribed status. Okay, it is an ascribed status. If an individual is born in a particular caste, he is believed to be belong to a particular caste. Okay, there is no choice of that individual that he does not belong to that particular caste. He cannot claim that I don't belong to this particular caste, because he by birth himself has ascribed to a particular caste. Okay, and that too, it is characterized by hereditary status, endogamy. What is endogamy? Marrying within a particular group. Okay, here the group is caste. In caste, individuals are forced to marry within that particular caste only. That is called as caste endogamy. And social barriers sanctioned by customs, laws, and religion. What are the social barriers? Social barriers most of the times are faced by lower caste. Social barriers such as educational barriers, economical barriers, social barriers, etc., etc., such as people belonging to untouchable community are not allowed to drink in a like not allowed to drink in public lakes, not allowed to bath in public lakes, etc., etc. So they are not allowed to certain activities which the other communities are allowed. So these are social discriminations. It refers to any of the hereditary social classes or subclasses or traditional Hindu society stratified according to Hindu ritual purity, namely the Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra caste. Okay, even within the caste there are two types. Okay, there are two types. Okay, the famous like sociologist, that is M. N. Srinivas, he says that within caste system there are two types. One is Varna system, another one is caste Jati system. Okay, what is that Varna system? It is based on the Vedic literature. Okay, according to this, according to Rig Veda, there are four castes, that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Okay, this is based on the literature, Vedic literature, that a person like belonging to head of the god is Brahmana, and if he is a part of shoulders then it is Kshatriya, and if he is part of thighs then it is Vaishya, and a person belonging out of the foot is called as Shudra. This is based on Vedic literature, whereas Jati, it is the present day context. In present day and context, we don't follow Varna, we follow Jati system. Okay, it is the feed view of caste system in India. Whereas in Jati, there are n number of caste, n number of Jatis, and there is no particular hierarchy here. Here a particular like hierarchy is there. There is no hierarchy here. In one state, Brahmanas can be at the top. In another state, another community can be on the top. In Karnataka, for example, our dominant caste are Gaudas, okay, or Vakaligas, or Lingayats, etc. They are not Brahmins, okay. Even though they do not belong to Brahmanism, even though they do not belong to this particular strata, they are still considered as a upper communities or upper caste in Karnataka. Okay, that is how. There is different view. But initially, we used to think that caste system is based on these ritual systems. Okay, and then after this, we'll try to understand differences in India. Okay, the differences arise based on how we speak, what we eat, what we wear, what we play. All depends on the historical background and the geographical settings of the place we live in. Okay, all these things, where we live, like speak, eat, wear, everything, like everything provides differences. However, these differences are the result of historical background and geographical settings of a place we live in. Okay, how geographical setting is going to define the clothes we wear. Okay, for example, talk about the clothes. Geographical settings. What is the connection between this one? If you are living in Himalayas or any place which is very cold, you are going to wear clothes. Okay, you are going to wear clothes such that it will reduce the cold. Okay, it will reduce the cold and it will keep you warm, such as mostly what we are going to wear here is jackets. Okay, woolen clothes, etc., etc. If we are in a desert, okay, if we are in a desert where the temperature is very high, where it is always warm, we tend to wear loose clothes. Okay, we tend to wear loose clothes. So that is the geographical settings change, or like the geographical settings define what the clothes we are going to wear. And then, okay, after this, each of the 8 major world religions are followed in India. So there is diversity in religions also. There are 1,600 mother tongues and over 100 dance forms in India. This is already discussed yesterday. And many of us are prejudiced of the people that differ from us. Like we think our traits, religions, etc. to be best, and we automatically presume that those of others are not good. This is not a healthy trait of our diversity. In prejudices, we often hurt others. Okay, so this is the negative aspect of diversity. Yesterday we said that within diversity there is unity. That is one of the key unique traits of India. but this diversity creates prejudices. How it is going to create prejudices? You belong to a particular community, you belong to a particular caste, you belong to a particular religion, and you follow particular custom or traditions, etc., etc. And you start thinking that yours is the most natural way, yours is the most advanced way, yours is the most greatest way of living. Okay, and a person belonging to different caste, community, religion may tend to follow different traditions, different customs, different faith, etc., etc. Now you start thinking that the person who is different from you is beneath you. Okay, like we feel that ours is the best, and we automatically presume that others are not good. So we start thinking that we try to keep ourselves at the top, and we put others who are different from us at the bottom. This is how stratification is created, and this is how prejudice is created. Okay, stratification and prejudices are created. We also tend to create stereotypes, that is, we form one particular stage image of an individual or a community that is either positive or negative about something without pondering over carefully. For example, only an example here. In India, a recent trend is that because of politics and etc., etc., we tend to have a negative image about a particular community. For example, in this case, Muslims. Okay, we tend to have a negative image about Muslims, not in the sense they are like all the people belonging to a community are negative. Just some certain people who are involved in negative activities, certain people who indulge in terrorist activities. Because of those persons, all the Muslims are stereotyped to be terrorists. All the Muslims are mocked by using the bomb jokes, etc., etc. Because of few individuals who involve in like terrorist activities, community as a whole is stereotyped to belong to a particular terrorist organization, etc., etc., and they are mocked upon. Even in different countries, for example USA, because few blacks used to indulge in criminal activities, all the blacks are considered to be of criminal nature, and they are stereotyped as rapists, etc., etc. So that is stereotype, and as the stereotype is created, and even without knowing a particular individual, because you are belonging to this particular community, suppose Muslims, or you are belonging to particular race, that is blacks, you are considered to be criminal. That is the prejudices which arises out of stereotypes. The stereotypes may be with the respect that to religion, place of origin, residence, sex, race, or background, etc., etc. For example, suppose we take example of Karnataka. There is a prejudice, there is a stereotype in South Karnataka people that North Karnataka people are very rough or very rash in their slang, in their way of living. But when the people from Southern Karnataka go and visit Northern Karnataka, and they tend to see that they are not so much different from each other. Okay, maybe the way they speak may be different, but the way they act, everything may be similar. Okay, because of the stereotype, they are stereotyped to be particular way, but that is not true. Next, when people act in a way that is driven by their prejudices or stereotypes, discrimination happens. Okay, first you create a stereotype. Because of the stereotype, prejudices arises. Because of these prejudices, discrimination arises out of prejudices. So this discrimination, we prevent people from using the rights just because they are inferior, just because we think they are inferior. Okay, that is how one of the most significant social structure, that is caste system, arrived into the stage. Castes were created as a result of discrimination on the basis of occupation of people originally, and rules were created by people who call themselves to be upper caste. The group at the bottom of the caste are labeled as untouchables. Okay, as I explained already. Okay, as I explained already, in a caste, originally Varna system, it was based on occupation. Okay, occupation: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The occupations of these caste or communities were initially Brahmanas were given the tasks of what you say, priesthood. Okay, priesthood, like all the hymns and all the rituals and etc. were performed by Brahmanas, and Kshatriyas were the powerhouse, and they were the warrior class. Okay, and Vaishyas, they were the trading classes or merchant class, and Shudras, they were the commoner group, mostly commoners who are involved in agriculture, and other activities. And there was beyond these four communities, there was another community called as, they were considered as untouchables. Okay, this untouchability was based on the fact that they used to consume non-vegetarian food, they used to follow alcoholism, etc., etc. Based on these traits, they were given a untouchable status, and because of certain prejudices and because of certain traits, these communities were discriminated about by all these upper communities. These three communities started discriminating against Shudras, and all the four communities started together discriminating against untouchables. This led to the discrimination in diversity, not unity in diversity. The untouchables were not allowed to take on work other than what they were meant to do. These people maintained distance from them. They were called as Dalits. Okay, untouchability was formed, and they were subjected to. There was a caste employment nexus was created that people belonging to Brahmanas or and the like children belong like childs of Brahmanas are to be praised in the continuous like in the coming ages, and the people are the like offsprings of Kshatriya people are to be considered as warriors only, and the children of untouchables have to work in millennial jobs, okay, such as cleaning the drainage, etc., etc., manual scavenging, etc., etc. So many Dalits and women came forward to demand the equality with other castes and men respectively. When the India became independent, the constitution was made, which laid down laws for equality among all the Indians. That is, we already know. So Dr. Ambedkar is a Dalit himself who had suffered a lot. He is considered the father of constitution, and he belonged to a community called as Mahar community. Okay, Mahar community, and there was a practice called as Mahar Vatan, where people expected Mahar, people belonging to Mahar. Okay, they were expected to work in field of upper caste or in the house of upper caste without expectation of any remuneration. Okay, free of cost work should be done by Mahars in upper caste communities. And prejudice is already discussed, stereotype is already discussed, discrimination, that is what arises after prejudice and stereotype, and the constitution. Okay, what is constitution? It is a document of national importance that laid out the rules by which a nation would function, and it is the constitution. It was prepared after India got independence already. And untouchability was, it is a discrimination which is followed by upper caste or lower caste. The preamble, it is the summary of constitution in the sense, except from B.R. Ambedkar writings and speeches. It's okay. So later when the okay, this is what about this was about discrimination and diversity. Okay, this is the second chapter of NCERT class 6 polity. Okay, so this was about discrimination, how discrimination arises because of diversity. Initially it is followed by stereotypes, then prejudices and discrimination. It will lead to discrimination in diversity. Okay, this is how caste system, class system, etc., system are followed in different countries or communities. So this was today's class, and this was second chapter of polity, NCERT class 6. If you have any doubts regarding this one, please do it in the comment box. If you like the video, please like, comment and share with your friends, and also subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon. With this I will end the video. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.